This is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Viscounts of the West Kingdom, which is very fresh in my mind. I just played it yesterday. Here are some photos of that play. I played on a friend's copy. This is another game. This is in the West Kingdom series from Shem Phillips, this one in collaboration with Sam McDonald. And there are a lot of clever mechanisms in this game. It's both a rondel game and a deck building game and kind of a tableau building game. There's a lot of different mechanisms in this game. A few of my favorites. Let's start with the card Tableau, which you can kind of see in this photo here. So, unlike most deck building games, you have a hand of cards, you do some things with those cards, and most of them, if not all of them, end up discarded, and they're not doing anything, they're sitting in your discard pile. And that's it. Like, your turn is done. There's nothing else in front of you. In Viscounts of the West Kingdom, there are 3 face-up cards that, except at the beginning of the game, are always in front of you, and these form kind of a line of cards. It's a temporary tableau, basically, where the card you play, you're choosing one card to play on your turn, will go on the left of that tableau, and the other cards here are still available for various uses. Some of them have ongoing powers. This one has an instant power. This one has a power when you discard it off this row. And some have ongoing. I don't have an example of it here. They also have little icons up here that you can use to do the things on your turn. So not only, like on this turn, I played this card, I got that instant ability, but then for the duration of this turn, I have access to all of these icons to use for my core action on that turn. And then at the end of my turn, or at the beginning of my turn, I cycle these cards. So the one that's on the far right will push off, and that's where these discard abilities come in. So it felt really good in this game that even though I'm only playing one card per turn, I can plan ahead a little bit and have this kind of ongoing set of cards that I can use to do the things that I want to do on my turn. That felt really good. I really, really like that mechanism. And I'd love to even see that in other deck building games. This idea that the cards you're playing, and we've seen it, I guess, a little bit. Seaside, Dominion Seaside, there are cards that you play that are there temporarily for a few turns until you use them. But this is the first game that I think is really designed around this mechanism that I've seen. But maybe you have some other examples you can share in the comments. That's probably the main thing that I like the most, but there are a few other mechanisms that I really enjoy. One is related to the building mechanism. When you build, you get an instant benefit. So if I put a building here, I get this instant benefit. I get a virtue. And whenever 2 players complete, so like I built here, if another player, or if I build another building here, we have this connection point bonus. So we both get that connection point bonus once this building is connected directly to another building. I love positive player interaction in games, and that it feels really good when this happens in Viscounts of the West Kingdom. And generally, like, you don't want to be the one to build there because you only get this benefit once. It's better if you have someone else build there, and that way you don't have to do anything else, and you both get that benefit. So that really feels good. I like that positive player interaction. Also, I really like this virtue track. I forget actually the exact name of the track. There's a bad thing token that's not necessarily all that bad, and then a virtue token. And these tokens can meet in the middle, and when they do, based on gaining or losing, gaining the bad thing, whatever the bad thing is called, or gaining virtue. But when they meet in the middle, you get a bonus based on where you are on that track at the time. So it's kind of this scaling virtue track, scaling reputation track. But at the same time, whenever they meet, depending on the current status of other players, a few different factors, I won't go into them here, but other players have a quick and easy thing that they can look at on their tableau. And based on what's below these tokens where they meet, so if these tokens meet right here, all other players gain or lose that bonus, or that they have that thing happen to them. So I like that this virtue track impacts other players. Last, one other mechanism I want to mention in the game is this rondel. I won't go too deep into how the rondel works. You can watch other videos to see how that works. But I have kind of been waiting for a game. There aren't many, I think there may be 1 or 2 games that do this, but there are very few deck building games that have a spatial element to them. And that instead of having, most deck building games have like a tableau or a card row of cards that you can buy from. But it's a little abstracted. It's a little bit outside of the game. It's not incorporated into the board itself, and for good reason. Usually because you want players to have access to those cards at all times. But I've been waiting for a game to have a really good spatial mechanism where the only cards that you can buy or use are based on where your character token is. So this is my character token. He is currently on this section of the board. There are 5 sections on the board. Each of the sections of the board has a stack of face-up cards, or the stack is face-up, only the top card is showing. And this is the card I can interact with this turn. I can either spend a certain number of coins based on this character to discard that character and get the benefits of that character for this turn, or I can spend the coins to add that character to my discard pile, so I can get to add it to my deck eventually. And that's really cool. I like that part of the game is like moving around the board and figure out which cards that you want to be near so that you can gain them, you can use them. But unless I have a special ability, I can't access any other cards this turn. I have to actually be on this location where this character is hanging out to interact with that character, which makes sense thematically. So I really like that they incorporated that into the design of Viscounts of the West Kingdom. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. There are lots of other mechanisms that I'm not going into here. If you have another favorite mechanism in Viscounts of the West Kingdom, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it below. Or if any of these mechanisms remind you of another game with a similar mechanism, I'd love to hear about that as well. Thanks.